everybody. Welcome to Tuesdays with Tilde. I'm Tilde Guajardo, the founder of Womanars, and today we are interviewing Holly Signorelli, who has been dubbed the money therapist, and we're going to be talking about tips and tricks for small business owners. So you definitely want to listen in on this interview. So welcome, Holly. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. So I know we had some fun doing the virtual summit, and so I wanted to invite you back for our Facebook audience and just, you know, allow you to really share some of the things that small business owners don't necessarily think about. But first, I want you to kind of tell people that weren't at the summit a little bit about yourself and how you got to be dubbed the money therapist.
Oh, okay, sure. I've been a CPA for 26 years and financial advisor, so I've always worked with money. That's all I've done my whole life. And, you know, we've had so many rocky times in the last decade, maybe even the last 2 decades. And after 2008, everything was so bad and people were so stressed out. And what I always use this term, but people went through what I call a spending starvation. You know, so many people were unemployed or just struggling or just, you know, barely getting by. And then after that, when the economy started to turn around in around 13 and 14, depending on what industry that you were in, people had an equal and opposite reaction to a spending spree. So we went from spending starvation to spending spree, and then people ended up, you know, spending every last dime, owing tax, having credit card debt, and then everything became even worse than it was before, because it's really demoralizing, you know, when you know that you've made money and you haven't set any aside. So that's why I wrote my book, Do You Know Where Your Money Is? Because I realized that people really, just again, the ups and downs of the last decade, they didn't feel safe anymore. They didn't feel secure. And believe it or not, that's what causes you to overspend. You overspend because you think that you're not getting more. So you're like, oh, I got to get this one last thing. You know, there's no more money coming. And you know, with your mindset, if you believe that way, that's kind of what's going to happen.
Or the big FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. Like if I don't do it now, I'm not ever going to get to do it because I might not have the opportunity.
Right, exactly.
So do it now that I have the money. You know, which is again the mindset issue, right?
Yeah, and it's all about balancing. So a lot of times people get some kind of a bonus. It could be a small bonus, it could be a $50,000 bonus or even more. And a lot of times people think of that as, they'll say that, well, that's not my money. Well, it is your money. It's your money. Someone just gave you $50,000 or $5,000 or even $1,000. So a lot of times, and I can't say that I've never done this, people, okay? I'm a human too, but sometimes we do just think, oh, I've got this, you know, $5,000, I didn't have it, I'm gonna go ahead and buy so-and-so with it. But, you know, when you, even with whatever dollar amount you get of something like that, if you can put something aside and then something kind of short term, and then let's just use the $5,000, you know, bonus that you got, and you spent even half of it on something really like a nice luxury item, but you saved half of it, you're going to feel better about that luxury item. You really are.
So what have been some of your biggest lessons as a small business owner?
I guess my biggest thing that I had, that I've talked about in the book, and I tell people a lot, you know, when I do speaking engagements, is when I had started my business a few years into it, I was really on top of the world at a young age, and I got into a real estate deal with some friends, and we just didn't do our due diligence, even though that's what I do for a living. And I would, if somebody else had come to me with that same, you know, real estate deal, I would have told them to run away. But, you know, sometimes you get caught up in the moment with friends, and I see this all the time. Like every year you have people come in and they want to start a partnership together, and they're usually family, friends, they've known each other forever, and for the same reason that we didn't do it, then you don't end up doing all the same contracts. And no matter who you're working with, people are not the same in business that they are at home. So it doesn't matter what your relationship is with them. You should always, always do the same contracts as if you don't even know that person. And also have the conversation besides the contracts of like, what is your role? What is my role? Because that's where the misunderstandings take place. And then usually a year later, they end up going belly up, or they may just end up closing the company because they're fighting about money all the time. They might have money, but then they're fighting and how it's being allocated. And those are things that, it's almost like a marriage, you know, you have to talk about it from the very beginning, you know, about the money and what are we doing, what's our goals, you know, how are we going to handle a stressful situation, because there's always a stressful situation in business, right? Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Well, especially if you have somebody else in the mix, you know, if you're a solopreneur and you're the only one making decisions, that's one thing. But if you're going into a joint venture or a partnership with somebody, I know I've learned my lesson the hard way as well, in that having to put everything in writing from this point forward, you know, just so that there's no miscommunication or assumptions made that shouldn't be made.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And also too, when you're discussing it, you know, sometimes things can be in writing or the attorney did it, but we can't even read half of it. You know, we don't even know what it is. So it's like when you also just communicate verbally, like this is what my role is. And especially with real estate, everybody wants to have real estate or, you know, some kind of property. So, you know, you have to, like, what is each person's role? Maybe somebody's financing it and maybe someone else is doing the work. And when that happens, sometimes the person that's doing the work, they feel like they're being taken advantage of, even though that was the original agreement. So maybe the person that's working should get paid something, even though they're going to be splitting something at the end. So those are things that seem small at the time, but they're really critical.
Yeah. So as a woman and a small business owner, one of the things that I had to overcome, because I knew how to manage my personal finances. But I had this fear of actually looking at my business financials, you know, and there's terminology that I wasn't familiar with, so I think that kind of made me skittish as well. And it wasn't until, you know, you push through the fear, you learn how to read financials, you learn how to make those projections, you learn a lot of the stuff that, you know, QuickBooks, it's something as easy as that, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is pretty simple. You don't have to be a CPA to use it. Your CPA might have to change some stuff at the end of the year for your taxes, but you can actually enter your income and expenses pretty easily with that, or FreshBooks. So there are a lot of new programs are out now.
So what are you finding for women in particular, because we address women here on Womanars, what do you think holds women back from actually taking control of their business finances? I mean, what have you found?
Well, I've worked with a lot of women, so it's really interesting. It's like it's really a very big divide. Like you have women that kind of run business like a man, you know? I mean, they are just doing things just the way that you think of back before women were working. And I think we're in this incredible time where so many people can run a business and still be a mom. And I mean, it's so amazing. But I do find that women, we are more emotional. We're built that way, right? But when it comes to business, that's where you have to kind of push that aside, because you want to make smart decisions. So just like we were talking about, you know, when I was talking about what happened in 2008, that was everybody, men, women, everybody, when they were being emotional. So sometimes when I find a female business owner struggling, they're not delegating, for one. They're not delegating, so they're doing everything themselves. They think that they're supposed to. There's still that feeling. I can't stress this enough. We are in a new age, okay? Women are working, and we're co-parenting now, you know? So you can't take on the role of doing everything at home, doing everything with the kids. I mean, our kids are adults now, but I was a single mom for a long time. It's like, and I had help, though. I had help from my family. So, you know, you need to be able to run your business over here, run your family over here, and share in those responsibilities. That's the only way that can work, because otherwise a lot of women, they don't do anything for themselves. You know, go to the spa every week.
Yeah.
Go get a massage, not just your nails done, but like
Go for a
something
walk.
go for a walk. Yeah, take some time for you, like meditate in the morning if you can, even if it's just for 15 minutes, or sit outside on the patio and enjoy your coffee and have time to yourself. Because if you don't do that, then you're not going to be at your best at your office.
Right.
And then what happens is, and I see this all the time, people start losing control of their emails. They're not responding fast enough, and then sometimes they'll lose business, because if somebody has to wait 2 or 3 days to get a response, they're going to move on to someone else. And the biggest way to avoid that is just to have an assistant. Have somebody to go through and get rid of the emails that you don't need, all the spam and everything, and then help you with the simple things, and then you can take care of the more complicated things.
Right.
So I would really encourage women to do that. Kind of think like a man. And when you're at the office, do what you got to do here, and then be fully present with your family when you get home. Yeah.
So we talked a little bit before we started the interview, and the debate happened last night. And one of the things that I found really frustrating, I'm not going to talk about politics, but one of the things that I found frustrating when they started to talk about the economy is that nobody really addressed the small business owners. And, you and I both know that small businesses are the ones who run the economy in this country.
Yeah, like 99% of business is small business. Only 1% are the big corporations. So small business is the foundation of this country, and it is critical that we keep the survival rate higher. The 80% failure rate is not acceptable.
Right.
It's not good for the economy. It's not good for our psyche, our emotions. So I think that's really important. I don't think that people talk about that enough. But I do feel that really we are still in an age where anybody can start any kind of venture. One of the things, people run out of money. That's how come they go out of business, right? They don't go, entrepreneurs, they have what my friend Matt Monero says, grit, so we push through that stuff. So it's very rare that somebody leaves their business because of that. It's because they run out of money. And a lot of times that happens because people try to use their own money. So they have the savings, maybe they had a W-2 job, they're using their 401k, but then what happens is while you watch your 401k disappear, you start to have fear about the lack of money. So sometimes it's okay to get a loan. Like if you get a small business loan and you have like a 5 or 10 year, or even 15 years to pay it off, then that gives you that first 2 to 3 years. Usually the failure rate happens within the first 5 years, right? So that gives you that time to build that company and be profitable, and then you start paying that loan. And you can make double payments just like on a credit card. You can pay it off faster. So, that's really the way to do it rather than trying to use your own money, unless you have so much of it that you're just taking, 10% out of it. And that I never see that happening.
So you talk about loans and can you negotiate on a small business loan when you go to a bank?
Well, with small business, it's really kind of a cut and dry process. You just go to the bank, and if you're getting like an SBA small business loan, you're really just filling out the forms and seeing what they can give you. It's not too much of a negotiable issue, but it's not very difficult to get one. Because I know that, with an SBA loan, you're talking at least $250,000. And I know, like with banks like the Lift Fund, for instance, it's less than $250,000. And also some of the banks now, for minority business owners, are taking collateral like your computer, your television, which are a lot easier to get. Sometimes you just need like 50 or 75,000 depending on your model. If you're a one-man show and you're doing a service, and a lot of banks, I know I had quite a few clients last year get lines of credit with BBVA. That were unsecured. So those things, like if you have good credit, because again, a lot of times people starting businesses, they're just tired of the W-2 world. They have money and they have good credit, and then they can get those kind of lines of credit. And the interest rate's a little bit higher, but again, the idea is to feel confident and secure that first year or two.
So tell people what BVA
Oh, Compass, yeah, Compass BBVA. You know, all these banks are merging and stuff, but I've done a lot of work with them, and I really like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some, let's say, 3 tips that you would have for small business owners, and some mistakes that you see people making and how to rectify them?
Yeah, one of the things is the home office. You know, if for you to have a home office, it actually has to be a home office. So, you know, you have to make sure that it's not a bedroom now it could be a bedroom. You could be in a bedroom, but it can't be like your bedroom.
Right.
You know, and a lot of people don't realize that, and it can't be your den, you know, even though a person might say, no, it's not really a den.
Or we're video producing.
Yeah, this is now our home office right here. Yeah. So, but if you can establish your home office, then from there, all of your miles, you know, for business are deductible. So that's really important because the commute's not deductible, and it just makes it easier. And I've told a lot of people this too. I use Miles IQ. It doesn't matter what app you use. There's lots of apps, but you know, everything's with the satellite now.
Wow.
So it knows where you're going, and then you're just, you know, adding some information, and then it remembers it. So if you come to the same place, which a lot of us do, or you're going to the same clients, then it remembers and it becomes easy.
Wow.
And then at the end of the year, you have your miles log, and that's really important.
Oh my gosh, that's so easy.
It is awesome. Yeah, and it's like pretty indisputable in an audit. You know, I'm sure they'll go in and check things, you know, but I haven't had any problem with those apps.
And it's called Miles IQ?
Miles IQ is the one I use, but there's a lot of good ones out there. So you can just check them out, see which one works best for you. Yeah. But they're just so easy. They're just doing it for you. You're just, okay, this is where I went. And then, like I said, you remember it.
Yeah.
So that's the thing with the home office is people have to make sure that they establish a real home office and that they don't have another office that they go to. So because if you have another office, you can still have a home office and take your printer and your computer and everything, but you can't take the home office deduction if you still have another office to go to.
So what are the requirements for a home office?
It's just, it has to be a separate room. It doesn't have to be a big room. And like I said, it could be a bedroom that you're using, just not the same bedroom that you sleep in.
Right.
Yeah. Now there is an exception, like if you have inventory. Then there are, like if you had inventory in this room right here, then that could become part of your home office. Okay. But most of the time, people don't have the inventory like that.
Okay, so the home office, the mileage.
The mileage, and let me think of the biggest thing that people mess up. One thing, this might be 2 things, is, you know, meals and entertainment, it's only 50% deductible. But sometimes people have meals and entertainment that are way out of proportion with their income. So you could be in the first year and you could be networking all the time and hustling and you're taking people to lunch. So I'm not saying that it's that you can't take it, but just be discerning about it. And same with travel. You know, for you to be, if you're really honestly going to Disney World with your family and then you just go, everybody thinks, oh, I'm just going to go talk to one person and get their card. That does not make your trip deductible.
Right.
Okay. You could maybe take a day of it or some of the meals on that. But you know, I mean, most of my travels are connected to business, and then I'll stay the weekend and not take the weekend deduction, but I'm taking the rest of it. Or if you plan it right and you have work on Friday and Monday, then you could take the weekend. But I also don't overuse that law, you know, like with I'll take the meals, but I'm not going to take all the entertainment if I'm in New York and I go watch a show. Right. You know, it's like just kind of be discerning about that. Or like if you're in Mexico, it's unlikely that you're going to find, you know, a client there, right? Because they don't have the same tax system. Right. Now, but that doesn't mean that couldn't happen. Right. But just be smart about it. Yeah. And the other area like that where people have a lot of confusion is that your image is not deductible. You can only deduct clothes if they're like scrubs or something that you can't normally wear, or if you are required by, like if you're a newscaster and they require you to wear certain clothes, not wear the same clothes twice. So, you know, they have to buy special clothes for that. But I mean, I wish that I could deduct all
you
of
and
my
me both.
clothes and my blowouts and all that too. But if I'm filming, like right now, then I can, you know, like for hair and makeup, something like that, because
Right.
you're recording not just like a live feed on Facebook, but like a real interview,
Right.
or TV.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, and tell me if I'm wrong because I might be doing it, but I write off my makeup because this is really the only time I wear makeup is when I'm on camera.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's there for a purpose.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but if you wear makeup every day and then you're doing a show once or twice a week, you got to prorate that stuff.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets really complicated and a pain
Yeah.
in the butt.
Yeah. You have to be, well, you can take a percentage, but you just have to be really careful about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
because everybody's on social media now, so that doesn't make it, that's still just an image thing.
So what are some questions that people should ask? Let's say, when do you know whether or not to hire a bookkeeper or a CPA, or what are some good questions to ask both a CPA and a bookkeeper, because they're totally separate.
Yeah, I know for me in my practice, I sold it last year, but I had my clients on retainer and we did the bookkeeping. But some of our clients were small enough, or they were actually just pretty good at the accounting part, and they wanted to be more hands-on. So they would use. Most people were in my practice were using QuickBooks, but again, there's a lot of new programs out there. I know FreshBooks caters to really small businesses where you can scan in your receipts, so it's really easy to use. And I know that when somebody does their own bookkeeping, I always have to clean it up. But that's okay, because it lets you save money and you be hands-on, be aware of your spending. Because if you're really putting those numbers in yourself, you're like, oh, you're more aware of it.
Right.
And then somebody cleaning it up at the end of the year is fine for your taxes. But if you're a bigger client and you have you need financial statements for the bank and you have loans and stuff, then you're going to need a CPA. Whether you do it or not, they're going to have to clean it up at least every quarter.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then some people don't want to do it at all. It's like, I don't want to change my oil on my car, so I pay somebody to do it. So for some people, what takes us 2 or 3 hours would take them 10.
Right.
So that's why they outsource that to us.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I have a lot of bookkeepers that take care of the smaller clients, just because it's more cost effective.
Right.
When they are having the CPA firm do the bookkeeping, it's because it's just a one-stop shop.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, like, for me as a small business owner, because of the expenses that I incur on a monthly basis, it's easier for me to send it to a bookkeeper, have them do it, itemize everything for me on a monthly basis, and then at the end of the year to be able to take all those expenses to my CPA and say, here's everything. Yeah. And that makes their job easier, makes the fee a lot less, because they're not.
And I'm all about that, because I think, I like to work around people's budgets, you know. So there's always, like you said, to do a bookkeeper instead of the CPA. And then if you're at the point where you can pay the retainer and have the calls and stuff, if that's what you need, then that's what you get.
Yeah. So what are some questions then that we should ask, like a bookkeeper, or
I would ask for their process. Like, we got to where we were downloading everything, so it was real easy. And everybody in my office is fingerprinted and all that, so there's that security. If you don't know the bookkeeper very well, or they have a good reputation, you still want to work with them, you might want to just have them give you a list of what they need every month, and then you can scan it over or drop it off. I mean, everybody scans everything now. People hardly ever come into the office anymore. It's like I need to go get a home office now, because nobody wants to come into the office anymore. So,
well, there's usually an app for that. That's why. It's like there's an app for scanning, there's an app for mileage.
Everything.
I mean, so just send it all.
So why take your time to go there? And also, you can just Skype people now, or Zoom or whatever, and have a conversation that way. So so that's changed.
And which I love, because it makes, instead of taking the 2 hours or an hour, 30 minutes one way, 30 minutes back, and then an hour somewhere else. you can have a meeting right from your home, and I've started to do that more and more. Because it is so easy just to Zoom or Skype with somebody and still have that.
Yeah, and it doesn't limit you to where you live, because you can have clients out of state. Yeah. So
anything else that you want to say to small business owners that would help?
I really think, just again, to remember what an incredible time that we live in, I really truly, I have never been paid less than a man has been paid.
Yeah.
And that has to do with how good you are at what you do and how much you believe in yourself. So when you are confident that you are worth that dollar amount, you will get that dollar amount.
Yeah.
When you take care of people, when you get back to them on time and you have a good schedule, and your schedule doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries.
Right.
You need to have boundaries too. Because sometimes bigger clients will want to talk to you at 11 o'clock at night or on a Sunday. So when you have the boundaries, they respect that more. But it is really about just do something that you love and that you're passionate about, and be a badass. Be the best that you can be with what you're doing, and you'll get clients and take care of them and get back to them and just run a tight ship, you know, and then balance your time between business and home and your free time, and just know that you deserve that free time too, because that's what will make you to be more present in everything that you do. And that's really how you can be the best person, is to be fully present in everything that you're doing.
And I think one of the things that you have, you know, that has helped you in your own career is that you know your value. Right. And I think a lot of women still underestimate their own value.
Yeah, and I think that's just because of history, because we weren't able to do what we're able to do now, or maybe our parents and our grandparents or reincarnated souls haven't done it, and you know, so we feel that way. So those are those things that we have to overcome, those barriers that we absolutely are supposed to be here and at this time.
Well, and how much of our struggles are really mentally, you know,
all of them.
You know, because we either, I think, operate out of love or fear. And so when it comes to business, if we're operating from a position of fear, then
you're not going to get the clients, and you're not going to feel confident about what you're doing, and you're not going to get paid on time. These are subliminal things that people aren't even thinking about. Even the customer isn't thinking about it, but they're not putting you first in line on getting paid.
Because it's a lot of times the energy that you're putting out. You know, and you don't even know. You might not even realize it, and you're racking your brain thinking, why is this not happening? You know? So what are some, because I know you're big on the mindset, you know, and helping people with the mindset issues, especially in dealing with finances. What are some tricks that you've learned on how to retrain sort of your brain when it comes to finances?
Well, I'm going to get a little guru here, if that's okay.
That's okay.
All right. We covered the logical stuff. But I really believe that money is just a form of energy, okay? Money comes to you based on how you feel about money. So on a subliminal level, if you don't feel good about it, or you don't feel worthy, or you're worried about it, it's going to repel from you. But if you realize that there's billions and trillions of dollars everywhere, and that you realize that when people have money constantly flowing to them, it's because they love it. And people are afraid to love money. You don't have to worship it. You just love money. Do you want to go the places that you want to go? Do you want to travel? Do you want to have nice things? Do things for your kids? Maybe put them in private school. Do you want to have savings? Feel secure?
Do you want to help people?
Yes, and definitely, with the holidays are around, we love doing the foster family, and that's a really big thing for us. So it's like money is, you can do wonderful things with money. So if anybody told you growing up that, you know, money is the root of all evil, or don't ever spend money, just save it, you know, you are supposed to spend it too. It's all about that balancing act.
Or you have to work your ass off to get money.
And you don't, because when you look at people that are the most successful, they're working passionately because they're having fun. They love what they're doing. They're not unhappy. And actually, a lot of people that work the hardest are making the least amount, if you think about it. So once you start thinking of money as a form of energy, because that's kind of a hard concept for people, because they feel like it's finite because of the way you pass it. But think about it. You could have a house that's worth something one day, and then the next day it's worth 100,000 less, or 100,000 more. Or you could have an incredible company that becomes obsolete because of new technology, and suddenly it's worthless. So the idea of what value is speculative, because it can change at any minute. So, if you want to allow abundance into your life, let it come in all different forms,
Yeah.
including time and opportunity, not just the money, because then the money kind of comes with those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and when you
because
think
it's
of it that way,
prosperity, right?
Yes, it's
And
prosperity.
abundance and-
Prosperity
yeah.
could be that someone's paying for your tickets.
Yeah.
So I remember I was getting my tickets paid for a long time, and I had this idea that I want to have more money so I can just buy my own ticket, and that's exactly what happened. And I was like, well, wait a second, I didn't really mean to do that. Now I have to pay for my own ticket. It's like, because that's what I wanted.
Right. Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is that when you speak it sometimes, and I know that you can relate to this, because there's some things that I say that come very naturally, and I just know and feel.
Exactly.
Right. And so it's just a matter of fact.
So the expectation is there, and it happens.
And then I forget about it, and then lo and behold, a week goes by, and
boom, it's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the expectation. Yeah. But sometimes we say we want something, but the expectation is not there.
right.
And that's where you can kind of feel that somewhere in your body. You maybe feel it in your tummy a little bit, or you get a little headache. And then that's where you can take some time to do some meditation, and just be quiet and still and think about what part of me is resisting this.
Right.
Because you can feel the resistance,
Right.
and you might not even know what it is. So if you don't know what the resistance is, you can start by saying, what is the resistance?
Yeah.
Because the truth is, subliminally, we know much more than we do consciously.
Right.
So you would know, you just got to bring it to the surface.
Exactly.
And then
sometimes
within
it's just
24 hours,
asking.
Yes.
Just asking.
Yeah.
But I have a story. This house that we're in is one of those moments that I had, because I was driving around the neighborhoods, and I was tired of dumping my money into rent, and living in uptown Dallas, and driving around the neighborhoods looking at different homes and stuff. When I drove through here, I was with a friend and said, let's go around again. So we did around the block, came back, and we were actually driving right through here, and I looked at her and I said, I'm going to live on this street.
Yeah.
And she started laughing, and I was just like, no, I said, you don't understand. I said, God's going to give me a house on this street.
Yeah.
And I just it's one of those things, you knew it. And this was in August of 2012. Fast forward October, nothing was for sale on this street at that time. Lo and behold, October rolls around. I had been looking at real estate online,
right.
during those couple of months. So I finally call a realtor friend of mine and say, I'm ready to go look, And so lo and behold, the first day on the market is this house.
Yeah.
On this street.
You're like, done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing. And I mean, the most amazing part is that it has everything that I ever wanted or needed, and so, but it was that feeling.
Yeah. And you know that good feeling, and you know that negative feeling. So that's why, again, just take the time to just get into a quiet place and be wonder what that is, and just be easy about it, wonder what that is. And then you're not like, oh, why am I thinking this way? You're not beating yourself up. You're just like, I wonder what that resistance is. Yeah. And then you just let it come up, and then you just get rid of it.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part.
It is, just to do it. Yeah, just to do it
calmly,
in a relaxed way,
calmly. Because I know for me, I get so frustrated. It's like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, and I do that too sometimes, and then I have to go back to that happy place.
Right, exactly.
I mean, that is our normal human way to be.
Right.
So that's the thing. But then once you calm yourself down, whether I like to be around water, so even if I'm by the pool or a lake or whatever, that makes me feel calm. And everybody has a place like that, that where they just naturally are calmer, and that's where you can go to do that.
Yeah, my place is by the water and hiking. Yeah, in the woods, just going for a walk or whatever. But anyway, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Somebody wants to know the difference between a CPA and a bookkeeper.
There's a really big difference. A bookkeeper is somebody who's probably got an accounting degree or may have taken some classes, and they understand where the income and expenses go, because when you are entering everything into a software program, you're ending up with a profit and loss statement. So the idea is that you can see how much money that you made and where all your expenses went. Like, how much did I spend on my car? How much did I spend on meals and entertainment? How much did I spend on printing? What was my rent last year? So that you can look at everything that way. A CPA is one of the most complicated designations. It's actually a 16-hour test that only about 10% pass the first time. And that is more for not bookkeeping, but for taxes and financial planning and, doing the overall plan for a business. So if somebody comes to me for their business, I'd probably set them up with a bookkeeper, but what I would be helping them with is their taxes and their overall strategy, like putting in tax deductible investments and things like that. So it's the real big picture of your financial life.
Well, and as a CPA, you can actually give advice on how they can save money.
Yeah, and it's very
your
personal.
business. Yeah.
We were doing some generic stuff that's for everybody, but when you're working with somebody one-on-one, it's very in-depth.
Yeah, and now a CPA can also file your taxes for you, correct?
Yeah.
Where a bookkeeper cannot?
Actually,
or can they?
There are people that are not CPAs that have tax companies. They can file taxes for you, or you could be an enrolled agent, which is like usually somebody that kind of like with the IRS, so somebody that really knows the laws.
Okay.
And typically, with that's kind of like when you drive by like an H&R Block or is it Liberty, whatever.
Yeah.
So if you have an easier return, hard enough that you don't want to do it or you don't want to deal with it because it's a pain, and those places are great. I mean, TurboTax is great. H&R, all of those places can do your tax return. But if you have a business and it's more complicated and bigger and you are owing a lot of tax and you need tax planning and planning to, like, maybe you're going to have a company with your spouse, or maybe you don't want to because you want to separate your assets, things like that are more complicated. Yeah. But certainly before I sold my company, I had plenty of smaller clients too, that wanted to be with a CPA, that maybe they just had a small business, like a real small business from home. It wasn't very big, but they still, wanted to have the best advice.
And I think that's a great question for a CPA also is, what are your primary clients? What are they like? Or are they small businesses like mine? Or are they more,
I think that's important because it's like, you don't go to a brain surgeon for heart surgery, right? You want somebody that has honed in on maybe 4 or 5 different segments of what they do. So I did a lot with the entertainment doctors that I still work with, and a lot of realtors and real estate. I do a ton of that. So you want to do what you're best at and what you enjoy.
Right.
You don't want to, like if somebody came to me with like a manufacturing company, could I do it? Yes, but I'd rather stay here and do what I know that I'm the best at.
Right.
Yeah.
And so basically I think what you just said is that a CPA is more qualified to give you advice on tax planning purposes.
Yeah.
And a bookkeeper is really to help you keep your finances itemized and in order.
If you have a bigger company though, and you have loans and lines of credit, it has to be done by a CPA.
Yeah.
Even if the bookkeeper does the initial step, there's comp letters that have to go to the bank, and it has to be by somebody who is licensed with the AICPA, which is for CPAs, obviously. so if you but you would know that when you go to the bank,
Okay.
So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was the only question that we had, and but thank you everybody for joining us today with Holly Signorelli, the money therapist. Before we go, tell people how they can get a hold of you.
TheMoneyTherapist.com. Everything's on there. I've got lots of freebies. I got the shoe calculator on there. And then I have some courses too. I have an entrepreneur boot camp course that we're starting on October 1st. So anybody that signs up for that, I'll have a private Facebook page to answer questions as well. So if you're setting up an LLC for the first time, or you're confused about payroll and any of those things, then all your questions will be answered there.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here. And thank you everybody for joining us today on Tuesdays with Tilde. And if you like the content, don't keep us a secret. Be sure and share it with your friends and anyone that you think might benefit from it as well. Also, you can find us on YouTube, on our Womanars channel, as well as Twitter. So be sure and follow us there. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week.